I'm Pastor Bob Schaefer. Welcome to a CPTV sneak peek. Our episode is all recorded and ready to go. Too bad it's safe and sound back on my gear back in Pittsburgh, while here I am in Atlanta for the Festival of Homiletics. I'll have the full episode for Easter 5C posted by Friday morning. And in the meanwhile, here's a little sample I was able to pull from a scratch audio track to wet your whistle.
So, a lot like the shepherd, he washed their feet. But he's the one setting the rules. They're the ones who just have to go and follow. And as we'll talk about more in the unity ethic, which is the second reading, but they don't go out and do a good job. They failed to be shepherds. You know, as humans do. I mean, we're not great.
And the book of Acts is, this is John and not Luke, so they don't connect, but, church history-wise, we have enough overlap. The Acts of the Apostles is largely the story of them messing it up, figuring out how to do it a little better next time, and messing it up and do it a little better next time, which is, that is the great complication of the mandate. Go love one another as I love you. Sounds so simple.
Right after
until you try and do it.
Right after this passage, too, is Paul's, betrayal. He immediately goes and denies Christ.
Yeah. And failed shepherds is like one of the key metaphors that the prophets use against Israel's kings. Talking about what does a bad king look like? It's a shepherd who should have been protecting the flock and instead is snarfing them down at his own table. And I feel like Eric and I, too, have kind of a good sense for this sort of weird dualness, that we are both sheep, but we're also called to be shepherds. And that's kind of a weird place to be. I think all of God's people are shepherd-like in certain aspects of their lives. I think that vocationally that is true, that we all are called to care for somebody who is our particular sheep, our particular neighbor who is put in our path to be our person that we are responsible for. But some of us, more specifically, pastor is Latin for shepherd. Schaefer is also Latin for shepherd, so I am shepherd.
Shepherd. Yeah.
That's like a little Caesar's commercial.
Jesus. You should use those to plug your church.
Yes. I could totally be a weird, fat little Caesar guy.
Yeah, I think...
Why is Bob in a toga?
Why isn't Bob in a toga?
Really, our albs for Sunday worship don't look very different from a toga. You just take off one of the sleeves.
Yeah, who said?
I just need a good laurel and I'm good to go.
I think Jesus has some, I like Jesus definitely has some... he's got some banger mandates, like go and make disciples of all nations as he's, ascending into heaven. He's just like, that's pretty gangster. And then he's just like, just tell him like it is. Give this coin unto Caesar. It's like, pay your taxes. But I think it is.
That one was just dodging a trick. He was like, I'm not telling you not to pay your taxes, but I'm not saying to not pay your taxes.
All I'm saying is God doesn't care. Render to Caesar what Caesar. I don't care. Money's bullshit.
As the Roman police stand by the door.
This definitely in a Shakespearean sense of it all. It is pretty badass for him to know that Judas is betraying him and him to wash the feet and then stand up and say, everybody love each other and side-eye Judas and then walk out of the room. It's pretty gangster. And obviously for him to know that Peter's about to betray him. Like he's being shady.
I give you a new commandment. Don't do what you're doing.
Switch it up.
But,
to your point, though, Logan, I read that line differently at the end. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you have loved one another. I read that as dismissive of seeking the glory from Jesus. I see that as saying, be a good person, and you will get this glory that you're seeking. instead of what we're seeing right now is people wear Christianity as a badge and there's nothing behind it. And I think that's what this is cautioning against, but I've also been told that I read into things.
Yeah. I think that is very much within the scope of John and what's happening, that is the intent, is to say that you do not try to be the greatest. You simply serve one another. I mean, this is right after the foot washing. That the way you show that you are my follower is to serve and not to lead. But I hear what Logan is saying, that we are being called to do this thing in the way Jesus did it, which is setting us up for a bar we cannot possibly clear. I mean, this is telling you to go die for your neighbor, which, if we all do, there's no neighbors left to go die for. So, I mean, there is a tension between being selfless and recognizing that someone else, if they're going to follow Jesus, has to be selfless on my behalf.
Yeah.
And I can't and I see this a lot in our congregations, are people who are very good at offering help but will never accept it. I mean, that's just because if I accept help, I'm becoming less of a Christian. And there is an argument that actually if you accept help, you're letting other people do their duty. And I mean, it's a cyclical thing. So, I mean, I hear both sides of that.
Well, that was Paul as he was taking the offering up, saying that your present abundance is for their need. And at some point, there's going to come a time when they have abundance and you are in need. And in this way, it's good for you to provide for them and for them to provide for you. And this is to God's glory, all of it.
So there you have it. We'll see you back here on Friday for the full episode. Thanks for listening.